So you're moving to Warrensburg or you're PCSing to Whiteman and you have to buy a home, and what the heck is happening with the housing market right now and the interest rates? Oh my gosh, can you buy a home? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks for watching my videos. Make sure that you like and subscribe right down below because I make a new video every single week all about Warrensburg and Whiteman Air Force Base and Knob, and you're gonna wanna get notified. And also, my contact information is right down there. I have people reaching out to me from all over the world. True fact, I just spoke to someone from Mississippi yesterday and they're moving to Warrensburg for a job and I'm helping them find a house. So if you're coming here, if you have questions, do not hesitate. Call me, text me, email me, send me a carrier pigeon. That doesn't exist anymore. But I love talking to people. Okay, guys and gals and everyone in between, today we are talking about what the heck is happening with our housing market. What is happening with these crazy interest rates? Well, I printed out some market reports for the Johnson County area, so we're mainly talking just about Warrensburg right now in Knob. And we're just gonna talk about them because just because the housing market and the rates have seemed to go crazy does not mean all hope is lost. Let's dig into it. So, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone in real estate that the market is doing some very interesting things right now. With the feds continuously raising the rates, they're just going up and up. What that's doing is it's actually kind of making the housing market even out. And what do I mean by that? Well, previously, last year and during the COVID-induced, almost like panic buying, it was really a seller's market. There was just not enough inventory, so buyers who needed to buy a house were basically just throwing money and these crazy offers at sellers in order to get the homes that they want. That is slowly changing. So let's look at these market reports and we're gonna see how these raising interest rates are really affecting the housing market. So from this report, we can see a shift from a seller's market slowly to a buyer's market. How is this, you ask? Well, one good indication of this are pending sales. So our pending sales are down 40%. For example, 80 pending sales around this time last year, and right now we just have 50 pending sales. So that kind of tells you right there. Also, inventory is up. Last year, there just were not enough houses on the market. So you had that buying induced panic where buyers just had to offer, crazy offers, over asking price, waiving inspection contingencies left and right. Well, now the inventory is up by almost 50% compared to last year. So 100 houses on the market during this time last year, 150 houses now. That's a big significant difference. So the big picture is that while home prices are still up, they're still up $25,000 by average over last year, buyers have the ability to be a little more choosy because they have more inventory to pick from. That also means that homes are sitting longer on the market. I know y'all remember last year, or even the very beginning of this year, where you popped a home on the market and same day you would have 5, 6, 7 offers and it would just be gone like that. We're going slowly back to where we were before COVID, where you put a home on the market, and at least in Warrensburg, the average time that that home would sit on the market was around 40 days. So we're not quite up to that quite yet, but we're definitely moving in that direction. So how does this affect the average buyer or seller? Well, with interest rates going up, there are less buyers on the market, meaning there is more inventory. And sellers, because their houses are sitting on the market longer, are getting a little more worried about selling their house, especially since you have that higher price for the houses. So sellers are starting to get a little more worried, which then gives buyers a little more leverage to really pick and choose and make a fair offer as opposed to an inflated offer like we were at about a year ago. So what is going to happen with this market? What I believe will happen as the interest rates continue to rise, the housing market will level out and plateau sometime next spring, probably around the double digits. It just has to, something has to break. And then prices will even out. The pricing on the sales side has to give. I mean, it just has to give. You can't continue to have a seller's market when there's way more inventory on the market and more for the buyer to choose from, because they're just not going to pay those inflated prices like they were willing to pay last year. What do I recommend to my buyers right now who have to buy a house? Because in Warrensburg, you move here, there's the college, there's the Air Force Base. So many people need to purchase housing in this town, and because the rents are so high, it's just the smart thing to do is to purchase a house. Well, we recommend a couple things. 1, find the house that you want. 2, negotiate within reason. Make sure that you're flexible and open, because with more inventory, if you have a seller that just refuses to budge on the price and the price is overinflated, just move on to the next option, because there are a lot more options on the market right now. Next advice would be don't get greedy. So even though you have more options as a buyer, that doesn't mean that you can come in and offer, $50,000 under asking price. It's probably not going to happen yet. And make sure that you find a really good real estate agent, maybe like myself, who can really steer you in the direction of a house that you're going to pay a fair and good price for at, unfortunately, these higher interest rates, because you can always refinance in the future once the interest rates drop. So there's this meme going around, and I 100% fully agree with it, and that is, it's better to buy a house at a higher interest rate where you pay less money for the house. So you buy the house at a fair value, or you get a really good deal on the house at a high interest rate, than to overpay for a house at a low interest rate, because you can always refinance. Another really great idea, and this is something that I do myself with real estate investment, and I tell my clients who are real estate investors, look at borrowing on a 15-year note. So instead of borrowing on a 30-year note, you squish that down to 15 years. And yes, is your mortgage payment going to be more? Yes, it is, but you are paying so much less in interest, and as soon as the rates drop, you can refinance, and you've basically paid off so much more on the principal of your house than on a 30-year fixed note. A really great example of this is I recently just purchased 2 single-family homes on Ming Street here in Warrensburg. Now, they had been on the market for quite a while. One of them had been listed at $175, and that was a really high price for this house that needs a lot of work. So I just sat, I waited for it to sit there, and it sat on there for quite a while, and then I went in and I offered $135, because that's what I felt was a really fair market value for a house that just needed a 100% complete overhaul. And then I also happened to talk him into selling me the house right next door at a fair price. So even though I have a 15-year note and my mortgage payment on this is higher now, I'm just gonna refinance in 3 years. I'm gonna have paid a giant chunk of principal off on my loan, and I'm gonna set myself up for being in a really good position when the interest rates drop next year or the year after that. So that may not be an option for everyone, but it's definitely something to think about for those of you who have the ability to pay that higher rate. In summation, yes, the interest rates, they are going up, and they will continue to go up until they plateau out, I think around spring of next year. But that does not mean you cannot buy a house and make a good purchase. This actually helps buyers in a sense, because it is bringing these house prices down because there's more inventory on the market, so it gives a buyer more leverage to pick and choose. And fear not, you can always refinance later. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I hope you liked this one. Make sure you like and subscribe right down below, because I make a new video every single week all about living in Warrensburg. You're gonna wanna get notified. Also, My contact information is down there. If you're moving to Warrensburg, you're PCSing to Whiteman, you're moving to Knob Noster, reach out, give me a call. I'd love to help y'all. Have a good one.